I am not starting a rumor. I have no knowledge. I am giving an opinion. So I am prefacing all of what I'm going to say based on what I think. What I think would make all the difference in the world for USC guard, small forward, Juju Watkins. And I'll tell you about it right now. Welcome back, everyone, to another edition of Rudy's Rant, powered by Come On Now, the podcast. We talk facts over feelings. But in this video, these are my feelings. These are my feelings, and I'm going to provide some facts, but these are my feelings. This is Rudy Rodriguez Shoma, aka Rudy the Hammer. For those of you who are new to the channel, I appreciate you coming on. I thank you for the opportunity. Leave a comment, ring the bell. Let me know your thoughts. You think I'm crazy? You think I'm not? For those of you who are back again, appreciate you. Love y'all. Like the video. Leave a comment. If you haven't rung the bell yet, make sure you ring that bell so you get all the up-to-the-minute notifications. I do have other things that I'm starting up as well where you won't be notified because I have to take it off notifications so I can make it open to the world. I can't have the algorithms destroying the videos that are not women's basketball related. So I have to do it a little differently. But be on the lookout for my NFL content, NBA content, Major League Baseball content. Juju Watkins right now is heading to March Madness for women. It's not really even March Madness. It's the NCAA tournament. March Madness was a men's thing. I don't know what they should come up with a name for women. I don't think it's not March Madness. I don't even think they refer to it as March Madness. But this is going to be the most mad for a women's basketball tournament as there is, because there's a lot of teams that have a shot to win. Now, there are teams that after I did my preview on it that I thought had a shot to win that I don't think have as much of a shot to win as I thought before. Some teams got exposed. Other ones showed up. I still think there's probably 7, 8, 9 teams that have a shot, but I think there's a lot of things that have to bounce the right way for them. But that's not about this topic. This is about Juju Watkins. And before people lose their minds, remember, I'm telling you, this is my opinion. Juju Watkins has the ability to be a megastar. She has that ability. What I need from Juju Watkins as a fan of women's basketball is and again, like I said, these are my feelings, people, so don't get your panties in a bunch. What appeals to people? What appeals to the typical fan? What appeals to you about Angel Reese if you're an Angel Reese fan? What appeals to you about Flau'jae Johnson if you're a Flau'jae fan? What appeals to you about Hannah Hidalgo if you're a Hannah Hidalgo fan? What appeals to you about them? Heck, what appeals to you about Caitlin Clark if you're a Caitlin Clark fan? You want to know what all 4 of those women, what appeals to you about Lauren Betts if you're a Lauren Betts fan? I'm naming players. I'm going to tell you from what I've seen of all these players, there's a certain passion. There's a certain personality. There's a certain, whether it's excitement, pissed offedness, attitude, there's a certain something that draws you to them or draws them to you. Juju Watkins this season looks, I have not confirmed this. She has not called me. I don't know her like that. I've not spoken to her parents. She looks like she's miserable. She looks like she's disinterested, like she's punching a time clock every day and going to work and punching the clock and going home. She looks like she's been at a job for 15 years that she utterly hates. That is the perception that I have of her watching her play basketball, even to the point where I saw very, very little emotion or passion in that USC UCLA Big Ten championship game. to the point where in the post-game press conference, she was asked literally 2 questions, weakest ass press conference I've ever seen in a game of that magnitude, that you only ask the athletes 3 total questions, and she answered 2 of them, and they let him out of the room so fast. I was like, Jesus, no one has any questions? She was seemingly just there. Did the loss bother Zoom? Did it piss her off? I would hope. But she showed none of that in that press conference. She shows very little emotion in basketball now. And I don't mean emotion of just being angry. I mean emotion of smiling, happiness, excitement, joy, jubilation, anger, disappointment, bitterness, just pissed offness. You see none of it. You see the same face. As a poker player, Juju Watkins this year has the greatest poker face in the history of basketball. She has the greatest poker face. Her face never changes. Her mannerisms never change. If you ever want a player to see, they say, you don't want to get too high, you don't want to get too low. She's like this all the time. Now, some people might say that's great. I don't. I'm not one of those people. And I say that because you're trying to build a star. You're trying to build a personality. You're trying to build someone that people can relate to. Even the people that are Juju Watkins fans, they can't relate to her. They can't, because she shows no passion out there. She shows like she's just there. Right now, this season, it feels like the weight of the world's on her shoulders and it's burying her. Now, what I said last night on my live was that I think Juju Watkins at the end of the season should transfer. Yes, that's what I said. I think Juju Watkins should transfer. In fact, I asked the question of the people in the live. I said, do you think Juju Watkins should transfer? Do you think she would transfer? Now, the large majority said, no, I don't think she'll ever transfer. But would it be in her best interest to do so? And here are my reasons why it would be in her best interest to do so. It would be in her best interest. It'll be in the best interest of women's basketball. It would be, and I'm going to talk about a few other players as well, but specifically to Juju Watkins. Juju Watkins at USC right now might be averaging 4 or 5, maybe 6,000 fans per game at USC in the largest metropolitan area in the nation. The largest metro area in the country, and they can't fill up a 10,000 seat arena. Not making it up. They can't fill it up. Juju Watkins does not have a fan base watching her in different road arenas. The only games that she sold out this year pretty much were UCLA, local, because it's UCLA and them. And I think there was maybe a couple others. For the vast majority, they did not play in full buildings. Most of these places were in Iowa, naturally, when it was Caitlin Clark Day. That had nothing to do with Juju Watkins. That was all about Caitlin Clark. And we all know that. We all know that. So why do I think that Juju Watkins should transfer? For one, there was a comment about how she'll never transfer because her family's a part of the community and all that stuff. Like, people move. People move all the time. People leave home to go to college all the time. Like I said, I don't know that she will transfer or not. I'm saying what I think she should do. One, what if she transferred to UCLA? I was told, oh, she hates UCLA. Okay. I didn't see that hatred in that game that they just lost. I didn't see it. I saw someone that was just, okay, whatever. Who was in that mode right now. Just like she shows, like I said, she punches the clock to go to work. You're not going to create mega stars, mega following in big cities in college. You wouldn't have created a mega star in Caitlin Clark if she went to USC or UCLA. You wouldn't have. You wouldn't have created that. You needed to have Caitlin Clark be in the right place at the right time and do things that no one ever seen before. You need to have Juju Watkins in a smaller area where there's nothing else to do but come watch women's basketball, where there's no pro sports in the way. There's nothing like that. And so the discussion last night was, where would I transfer to? First of all, you're transferring to one of two places. You're transferring to the Big Ten or you're transferring to the SEC. It's one of the two. You're not transferring to UConn. UConn came up. You want to know why you don't transfer to UConn? Because Gino Auriemma will never allow a player to be bigger than him. Gino Auriemma's ego does not allow him to allow a player to be bigger than him. Paige Becker should never have gone to UConn. Paige Becker should have gone to school in Big Ten. She should have stayed in the Midwest, where she would have been put on the highest pedestal on the face of the earth, similar to Caitlin Clark. Going to UConn, she just got in another line of players who were greats before her. And in fact, for her, it's actually embarrassing because she's one of the greats that might not ever win a national championship there. If they don't win this year, Paige Beckers will have been there for 5 years without a ring. And that's not how shit rolls at UConn. Ohio State. Ohio State has money upon money upon money, but dollar upon dollar upon dollar. People asked, if someone said, so this is all from the live last night. Well, her family, all that stuff, like her family will go with her. Her family, you telling me in today's NIL world that her family she's already a millionaire. Her family will be paid for. Her family will be taken care of. I don't even know that her parents work anymore. Maybe they do. I have no idea. I have no clue on that. Her family moves wherever she goes. She's the youngest from what I was told. So everyone else is an adult in her family. Her mother and father will go wherever she goes. This whole thing about the community and her grandfather, that's cute. That's cute. I asked the question this. Does the community really care about her? See, that's where we have a disconnect. Does the community of Los Angeles give a shit about Juju Watkins? Based on their lack of attendance at basketball games, the answer is no. They don't give a shit about her. Because if they did, that place would be overflowing every game. But there's so much to do in Los Angeles. The Lakers, the Clippers, the Rams, the Chargers, the Angels, the Dodgers, the Sparks now. You got soccer teams there. Not to mention the nightlife, the beach, all these different things, the shows, you name it. They have everything in LA. USC women's basketball might be 15th on or 20th on the list of things to do in Los Angeles. So what you have is you have a player who is an all-time level player who's playing in front of nobody. Now, I don't know about you, but when I played in high school, whether it was basketball or football, it was a whole lot nicer to play in front of people than play in front of an empty place. Playing in front of an empty place is like having a Saturday afternoon scrimmage with your team. Who gives a shit if 2 million people watch the game on TV if no one's there watching you in person? Who cares about the TV ratings when no one's watching you in person? TV ratings are largely sparked by people being in the building. It's not usually the other way around. The UConn USC game was largely influenced by an NFL game before it. Who cares? 2 million people stayed and watched it on television. And that building was full wherever they played. I think it was in New York. That building was full. But if the building is half empty, are people going to be watching on TV as much? No. Part of the buzz is people being there. Part of the buzz is showing 10 cities out in front of that building, everyone clamoring to get in that building because they got to see her play. And she has that ability. She's just in the wrong place. She wanted to stay home. I get it. I understand it. If you want to keep playing in front of 3,000 people when you play Cal Baptist in the first 10 games of the year, where literally every game is a third empty, a third full in your home building, sorry. And look, we got to remember that Caitlin Clark's rise to fame happened her junior year, not her sophomore year. Juju Watkins is still a sophomore. But I'm presenting this idea of her leaving SC and going to either Ohio State, Indiana, Michigan, South Carolina, LSU. Those would probably be the 5. Tennessee would be another one. Those would be the 6 that I'm looking at. Where women's basketball would be reigning supreme, even in Michigan. You want to know why I say this? Because Michigan, give you an example. Michigan. Can you imagine having the Dave Portnoy Barstool Sports machine pushing you? Dave Portnoy is a rabid Michigan guy. He just spent a fortune to get the kid to play quarterback at Michigan. You don't think he'd break the bank to have Juju Watkins play in Ann Arbor? Are you kidding? That building would be filled. The Barstool Sports media push? Oh my God. She would be on Barstool everywhere. You think there's a money? I don't care how much money SC can pay. These teams in the Big Ten and the SEC, they can pay more. And they'll make her a figure that be like nothing you've ever seen. Maybe even bigger than Caitlin Clark. It would be bananas. You can't go to UConn. Why? Because Gino Auriemma is too big for it. Indiana? Oh my God. They would make her, not to mention you're in Indiana where Caitlin Clark's playing basketball for the Indiana Fever. Oh my, Indiana will become the biggest women's basketball mecca in the country. If it's not already, it would become that because now you have Juju Watkins at IU and Caitlin Clark playing for the Fever at the same time. Oh my word. That building would be overflowing. There would be tent cities outside. I would also mention one more, Duke. Maybe Duke and Notre Dame too. The ACC is not as good, but Notre Dame would also be ones. Can you imagine putting Juju Watkins next to Hannah Hidalgo? Be insanity. That'd probably be the only one that I wouldn't do because of the star power of Hannah Hidalgo already. Duke, with Kara Lawson coaching that team, you see what they just did? They just beat NC State to win the ACC. Krzyzewskiville, people sleeping outside to come in for a game. The environment in that damn stadium, oh my word, you guys have no idea. Ohio State just paid $20 million last year for a football team that won the national championship. Are you kidding? You get that girl in Columbus, the freaking place would stop when she plays at home. It would stop. And now she's really in the Big Ten. She's not out west. See, these teams out west, that's not the Big Ten. I hate that the Pac-12 disbanded. I can't stand the fact that UCLA and USC are in the Big Ten now. It's ridiculous. Oregon, Washington, that's just dumb. You get her in a real middle of the country Big Ten school, one of those big names, Ohio State, Michigan, Indiana. Heck, dare I say Iowa? I don't think that could ever happen, but dare I say even Iowa? There's a large amount of anger that is in this country and involving women's basketball. Hate, evil, reality TV, all these things that I've talked about. You want to know how you have people start coming together like human beings again? Yeah, I said it. Caitlin Clark, teammates with Angel Reese. Juju Watkins playing at Iowa. Like these are the things that would make these are the things that grow your sport. No one's following Juju Watkins to watch WNBA basketball, and that's the problem. And then you might see a person who's actually fucking engaged again emotionally. Looks like she's there. Because I know she has emotion. We saw it as a freshman. We saw her emotion as a freshman. This year, there's no emotion. She looks like she's miserable. Yeah, this is my opinion. I can look at people's mannerisms and get a pretty good idea of how someone's feeling. If I walk around all day looking like this, and my face never changes, you will think that there's something wrong. And you would be right to think that because I don't walk around like this. And she doesn't either. We've seen her smile. She has a beautiful smile. She's a very pretty girl. Like, we need to stop this madness. That girl is not being marketed properly in SC. They don't support her at SC. The community doesn't support her in SC. No one goes to her games at SC. Nobody goes. So yeah, my feeling, my opinion is that she should transfer. Not to mention her coach is a moron. Bluntly, her coach is a moron. Her coach is terrible. Lindsay Gottlieb doesn't have a fucking clue what she's doing. I believe she wore her ass out during the Big Ten season, which is why she shot so poorly for such a lengthy stretch of time. She has a double-digit lead against UCLA and doesn't even sit Juju down for 2 minutes. Girl played 40 minutes of that game, all 40 minutes, and you led the entire first half, and you don't sit her for 2 minutes, 3 minutes. There are a lot of things that are going on at SC that I don't think people truly understand. You have a coach who looks in over her head, who doesn't seem to know what the hell she's doing, a player who is playing in front of 4,000 people at home. And I've done a video on it. The first 10 games that they played at home against those non-Big Ten schools, that building was largely empty. They didn't even sell out the Notre Dame game. Think about that. They didn't even sell out the Notre Dame game, if I recall correctly. Let me see. Not even close. 78-94. 78-94. The capacity of that building is 10,258. They could not sell out with three All-Americans playing in that game. People in LA don't give a shit, man. So that community that she's supposed to care about so much, man, this is her basketball career. This is her life. This is her life. Again, people go, oh, fine. I'm giving you reasons for why you make that move. Because if you're a star in Indiana, at Ohio State, no one's going to remember the girl who's at Ohio State right now. She's nobody. Juju Watkins at Ohio State? Y'all don't get it, man. Juju at Ohio, Juju at LSU? $16,000 in the building every game at her home build? Oh, my word. And if Flau'jae Johnson stays for another year, that's my opinion, people. I love to hear what you have to say. Am I crazy? Do you think I'm? See, it's not about if we think it's going to happen. I don't think. Would it benefit her? Would it make her the megastar that people want her to be organically? Because right now, everything going on with Juju Watkins is it's forced. It's trying to stick this pen into my iPhone and say it fits and it charges the phone. No, square peg, round hole. It's not working. It got to be organic. Organic comes from playing in a place where they got nothing else but you, where you are the focus of this. You are it. And that's why I think Paige Beckers probably should go to Minnesota. Minnesota, Michigan, Michigan State, Iowa, dare I say, Indiana. Paige Becker should have gone to a Midwest school. UConn was a mistake for her because Paige Beckers is not the star that they thought that she would be. Notice that none of the women out of UConn are stars. They're just another player from UConn. Whether they're great or not, another player from UConn. I guarantee you, if I name players that played at UConn, you'd be like, oh, that person played at UConn? You have no idea, right? Give you one for example. And I'm pretty sure this is what I heard this the other night. And I was like, wait, she played at UConn? That's how many people have run through UConn where you're like, oh wow. Azure Stevens went to UConn. She went to Duke and UConn, in fact. I don't remember her at UConn. There's been so many. Do you want to be one of so many? Or do you want to be one of one? And maybe that's what she's trying to be at USC. But SC doesn't support their team. SC doesn't care if you they don't care about you. There's too much in LA. But that goes for the same thing in like Miami Hurricane football. I grew up a Hurricane fan. You know how many people came to they won 4 titles in 9 years. 4 natties in 9 years. 8 years. 4 national championships in 8 years. They didn't average a sellout for a team that won the national championship 4 times. They might have averaged 50,000 people, 55,000. They'd sell the big games. The regular games, nobody cared. The 01 Hurricanes, 68,000. That stadium sat 10,000 more than that. The big games, they overflowed. The regular games, nobody cared. Big cities are event places. Big cities don't support small college. Big cities do not support college basketball. They don't. They don't. But you let me know your thoughts in the comments. Let me hear what you got to say. Again, like this is my opinion. Don't get your pennies in a bunch. But it's how I feel. I think she should transfer. And then you will see a mega star built. Leave your thoughts in the comments. Like, subscribe, follow. Ring that bell. This is Rudy's Rant. Come on now.